Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rift Podcast Project. Today, we are joined by Katie, Colleen, and Sunny, who are part of a retired FTC team called Schrodinger's Hat, or FTC 3595. Welcome.
Katie, I'm a college sophomore and a first alum. I was on Team 3595 for 7 years, and I fulfilled basically every role on the team at this point.
Colleen, I am a college senior getting ready to graduate. I did First Tech Challenge for a long time. I also did First Lego League. And much like Katie, I fulfilled almost every single role on the team at one time or another.
I am Sunny. I am an incoming freshman at a college, and I've been on the team for 3 years. And I basically done everything besides and a little bit programming.
All right. So some background on Schrodinger's Hat. They were an FTC team for, I believe, 10 years. They won Inspire at the World Championship in 2015, which is like the highest honor at an FTC competition. They have qualified for the World Championship 7 times. They've attended 5 super regionals. They have won Inspire at 8 times at championship tournaments and have won numerous other awards at Worlds. And you have 2 Dean's List finalists and a Dean's List winner on the team from the team. You also were hand-selected to be Team USA at the inaugural year of First Global. And yeah, all around just FTC rock stars.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us today.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So I think we'll start out with the World Championship 2015. So
for sure.
Yeah.
So I say kind of the same thing every time someone asks about it, which sounds almost less real the further away we get from it. But it's that all of 2015, all of that World Championship, and in particular winning Inspire there, still doesn't feel real. It's such a huge honor, and it's something that I legitimately still shake when I think about, even over 5 years out. So obviously it was a really big deal to our team. It was something that meant a lot to us as a team and as individuals. And then it was also something that we saw kind of as an opportunity to do more with first. So after we won Inspire, we started thinking even more about how to pay it forward and use the connections that we'd made to help other teams and connect with more volunteers and just have a bigger and better impact than we had before.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, obviously it was a huge honor, but it was also a really big opportunity for us to start doing more with First, both for ourselves and for everyone else within these programs.
Yeah, that's incredible, helping the teams with not only just basking in your success, but helping share that to other teams is truly incredible. So thank you. Anyone else want to touch up on World Championship?
Honestly,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
It's such an amazing opportunity. And I'm still so lucky to be part of such an amazingly global community. That, when we were competing, we knew teams from all over the world. And I'm still lucky to be friends with a lot of those people. And whether or not I get to see them at competitions that I volunteer at now, or I just see the Facebook notification that it's their birthday coming out this week,
Mm-hmm.
It's really amazing to feel connected to such a worldwide community like that.
Yeah.
I feel the same with Colleen. The first time I went there, I didn't know a lot of people, and I got to know all the teams around the world and got to talk to them and got to know what they are doing for their community, and that makes me feel inspired. And then coming back, I am able to do a lot of things with prior knowledge, and just to know that there's a lot more that I can do for the community and for the people around me. And then knowing the people, then I know a lot of them going to the same colleges as I am, and they're aiming to build a FTC community in the college too, and to get more people know robotics and to help with this education. So
Yeah.
it's really a great opportunity. Go ahead.
I totally agree with what both Colleen and Sunny have said. I think the best part of First Tech Challenge and really First as a whole is the community, because obviously it's pretty cool to build a robot alone in your basement, but it's way cooler and way more fun to build a robot in your basement with friends. And it's even cooler to do that and then connect with other teams and go to competitions and meet people from around the state and around the country and around the world. And I think that's what makes First so special to all of us and such an impactful organization.
Yeah, and I think one cool thing about First is that in all the competitions, even though you're competing with one another, everyone's so supportive, and all the teams are like really get along with each other, which is very cool, especially in a competition setting.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what makes First so special, is that you can't fail any competition when you go to a field, but like everyone is so willing to help you and help each other.
Yeah. So I think we can move on to the next topic on the agenda, which is Dean's List. I think, Colleen, you said you were going to take charge of that.
Yeah. I was incredibly honored in 2016 to be nominated by my team and then to win the FTC Dean's List Award on the international level. It was truly a life-changing experience. Like we've already said, there are so many amazing aspects of First, but this is one of the ones that really changed my life and my outlook. It was a huge honor to be selected as a leader in the community, and then to get to meet with so many other people who helped make First what it is today, meet other students, and get to work even more with the First and First Tech Challenge staff was seriously phenomenal. And there are so many different aspects of it, from potential college scholarships and recruiting through that, to getting to meet with the late Dr. Woody Flowers, who everything that he said during the first Dean's List dinner was so moving, and getting to feel like we all knew him slightly better, somebody who is responsible for a program that changed all of our lives, was such an honor. And I was lucky to be a part of Dean's List with so many other amazing students. One of the Dean's List award winners in 2016, her name is Sanjna, and she's absolutely phenomenal. And we got close during Dean's List, and then when we were asked, my sister and I, to be Team USA for First Global, we also invited Sanjna to be a part of it, and she really rounded out our team. And it's getting to make those connections that both are important within First and then outside of First is really what makes it so special, at least to me.
Yeah. So, Katie, do you want to elaborate on your experience with Dean's List?
Yeah, so one thing I want to elaborate on Colleen's experience with Dean's List, actually, in that she said she's a Dean's List winner, but it isn't necessarily, it doesn't come across how big of a deal that is. Every year at the World Championship, First selects 10 Dean's List winners for individuals from all of the First Tech Challenge teams across the world. So it isn't team recognition, it's an individual recognition. It means that there are thousands and thousands of students competing for it. And Colleen was one of the 10 selected winners. So I just want to brag a bit on her for that, because I don't think it came across just how awesome it and she are.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you for that, yeah.
Too sweet. And I mean, both you and Sunny were also absolutely phenomenal and were finalists for the award in following years. And so I'm in good company.
Thank you.
Dean's List finalist is also very, very impressive.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you touched up on Team USA at First Global. Does anyone want to talk about that experience? Maybe share like a story from that?
For sure. Being Team USA for First Global was absolutely a blur. So it was in 2017 for the inaugural year of First Global, which is a program that at the time was a new one that First had started as basically their Robot Olympics, they called it. So they had one team per country representing their country at the event. They had teams from 160 something countries. 160 what?
3.
Perfect. Countries the first year that we competed. And we were honored to be invited by First headquarters to represent USA in the inaugural year. And so obviously right off the bat, that was a huge honor and something that we were really excited about. It wound up being an awesome opportunity for us in a lot of ways. One thing that Colleen touched on is that our third member, Sanjna, was someone who she had met at the Dean's List Summit event the year before. And at the time, my sister and I lived on the West Coast in Alaska and then Washington. And Sanjna lived on the East Coast in New Jersey. And so we were working remotely for almost the entire season, which at the time felt kind of weird and now is really relevant.
Yeah.
So during that season, we figured out how to work remotely, have those connections via video calls, not Zoom at the time, but back before then we had multi-weekly video calls with our third team member, with Sanjna, as we figured out the team, designed the robot, figured out all of kind of the more than robots aspects of First Global. And then we had 2 actual team meetings. So one time Sanjna flew out to work with us. And then right before the official competition in Washington, D.C., we flew out to the East Coast and worked with Sanjna for a little. And so during that season, we learned how to make those virtual connections both within the team, because we were on opposite coasts, and also with the teams from around the world. So leading up to the competition, we had the opportunity to meet with people from hundreds of different countries, really, and get to know these other teams before the event. And then that led into some pretty awesome experiences at the event too. Colleen, if you want to touch on one or more of them with teams.
It was seriously phenomenal, and getting to meet so many different people from around the world was really mind-boggling and eye-opening. There were so many teams there who had so many different experiences, but were all united in this competition together. And while it was a competition, it was truly collaborative in the best sense of what First is all about. It's everybody was there to help each other, and it was amazing to get to meet so many of my peers from different communities around the world who all had similar passions, even though they had very different life stories. And that it was really life-changing. Like, I feel like that's a cliche at this point, but like it really truly was. And just like the change in the way that we view these countries on a map, it's no longer just, yes, that's where that country is. It's, yes, that's where that country is. That was an amazing team, and they had a really cool arm on their robot, and we got to talk over lunch about, what their experience was like getting here.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it really is, that's the kind of thing that makes a difference.
Yeah, sure. So I think going on to the next topic in the agenda, Sunny, we want to take the lead on talking about the different events and activities that 3595 participated in and were active in.
Sure. And just to keep going on what they were talking about First Global, I didn't have the opportunity to go to First Global physically, but I was able to help another team from Ethiopia who is going to First Global the year after that, and we were able to tutor them and talk with them along the way during the preparation time, and it was so truly amazing because each week we talk through like FaceTime, and we were able to see them and talk them face to face about what they are up to and what their new changes, designs, and what their process is. And it's truly amazing because I can know things, I can learn things from a different perspective, and I can like help them if they need anything. But it's more than a tutor. It's more communication. It's more a form of we all love robot and we are all brought together by First Global and brought by FTC. So that was something I really enjoyed while working with First Global. And then another thing, like later in the season, we do a lot of work with different communities and different organizations. They were amazing. Like it's a cliche too, but it's like each week, each day, each weekend, we have different meetings with these organizations. And on the Sunday, we are going out to a university nearby and doing a demo for the kids and for different robotics programs. It was amazing, and knowing the people and knowing what they're and helping the kids to get education on robots and get a startup robots and this technology education is truly amazing. That's something I wish I had when I was young.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add on and want me to talk about?
One of the things that I'm really proud of that we did in our whole time as a team, but especially focusing on it in the final couple of years, was working with organizations focused on supporting diversity and inclusion in FIRST. So we worked with a great example of it that Sunny did a lot with is First Ladies, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Right. So First Ladies is essentially an organization to keep underrepresented girls and women and some boys to in STEM to have them to encourage them to keep doing STEM. And the research before showed that more and more young ladies stop doing STEM when they go to high school because they think it's not a lot of people do it and they get discouraged from it. But in this organization, we are keep to promote that STEM. It's cool and all the girls should do it. If you have done it before, you should keep doing it. And we go to events and we do online meetings and just propagandas around the world to show that how cool it is to do STEM as a girl in high school and universities and in life, in the rest of your life. So that's something I was really proud of.
All right. So, does anyone else want to touch up on the different things that you guys did on 3595? Like, I don't know if this has been stressed, but these people did a lot of stuff. Like I believe your final season, you were active in like 166 events during that season, which is like mind-boggling. So it's very cool.
That's right. Our final several seasons, we did over 100 events every season, which we were definitely really proud of because, one, it's just a lot of fun. Like, we really like doing that outreach and connecting with other teams or people in the community and sharing more about FIRST and kind of our experiences in the program and in STEM. So it's a lot of fun and it's something that we really enjoyed. But it's also something that we felt like we were able to have a big impact through. So the 166 events that you mentioned are a really wide range of things. Some of them, they're things like Sunny mentioned with local demos at schools or universities where we would go out and speak about FIRST and our robot and kind of this season and help people to get more involved in FIRST if they would like to do so, and also just share our experiences. Some of them were volunteering at tournaments. That's another thing that FIRST is really big on, is the idea of paying it forward and helping other teams, which we kind of talked about interspersed throughout this. And so at tournaments, we were always really eager to be involved with as many tournaments as we could, even when we weren't competing at them, so that we could help other teams in whatever respect it may be. Something that I always have really enjoyed in volunteering is being an FTA, a field technical advisor. which basically means that you're the mid-match and in-between match technical support for team. Working with robots, things are guaranteed to go wrong. It just happens all the time. And so what I did was help teams with that troubleshooting to get their robots back up and running as fast as they could. And that was something that was always super rewarding for me. One, just because I really like technology and working with it, and it's something that I genuinely enjoy, but also because it let me engage one-on-one with so many teams throughout the course of every tournament. So that was something that was super fun and rewarding for me.
And besides some local demos and volunteering at events, as Katie said, we often have online meetings. For example, we have our first tech network every Monday. So when at Monday at 8 o'clock and everyone in the community knows, we all go online and chat about how each season goes for everyone and what events they participated in and what some like things they like to other people to know if it always go wrong their robot, and just some cool things they've done. So that's a really that's a nice way to connect with community. If you are not like if you are on a team but you don't get a chance to go out, there's always a community online where allows you to chat with different people from first.
Yeah.
So, Katie, I know your work with the LGBTQ plus of First, you and Sunny, has been incredibly important to a lot of people in the community. Is that something that you'd be willing to talk about?
Definitely. So that's another organization that we worked with over the team's final 2 seasons, I believe, focused on diversity and inclusion. So the organization is LGBTQ plus of First, focused on supporting queer students in First and in STEM. So I was a student admin for that organization, meaning that I was one of just the individuals helping to run it. And then we were also a gold tier partner team as Schrodinger's hat, meaning we were one of the teams helping to kind of run the organization, but also put on events, promote it, help get more people involved if they wanted to, and then also providing that support for people within it. And so that was something that was really meaningful to me because I found it really helpful, one, just to know that it existed as a student, and then also to find that community of other queer people in STEM in that organization. And then it was also just a lot of fun because it was a really rewarding organization to be involved with. And personally, I made a ton of friends through it. So it was something that I really enjoyed being involved with the final few seasons in FTC.
And I am an student ambassador on that organization. As even though I didn't do as much as Katie does, but I helped to set up help plan the event at the world competition. It was really mind blowing for me because just seeing everyone who loved to be part of and to speak up for themselves coming all to the what's it called, like a hangout
meetup, yeah.
Meetup, like in person, and having everyone just being so nice to each other and like to like encourage each other on. It was really like special to me to see that. It's really heartwarming.
Yeah, sure. So I think we'll move on to the next item in our agenda, which I think a lot of people might be interested in is like, how do you balance, you obviously did a lot of stuff in FTC. And so just like, how do you, even now, like, how do you find a balance between these sort of like events and first and competitions and then like other things in your life?
I think that for all of us, first was and is a really big part of our life. So especially while we were competing, but now as well, it is a pretty big priority for us. So part of it is just that it's not only a thing that we did like because we were on the team and like had to do it, or for, I don't know, college applications or whatever, but it was something that we really genuinely enjoyed. So the building of the robot, the outreach, the going to tournaments and meeting other people, volunteering and getting to work with teams, all of it is something that's really genuinely fun. And so even though it kind of took over my life for an entire decade, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. I think since graduating, I've found perhaps a bit more of a balance in that I'm now involved with a whole lot of other stuff at college, both like, schoolwork, academics, and then other organizations, other clubs. And so since graduating, obviously I haven't done as much with First because I don't devote every free second of my time to it. But it's now something where I've found kind of a new way to engage with First through volunteering, through helping teams over whenever I have a break from school, or whenever people might reach out online. And so I think there's been, at least for me, different balances between First and everything else at different points in my life. And they've all worked because I love First so much that I'm happy to devote as much time as I can to it.
Yeah.
Same for me. So it was really hard to find the balance between sports and First. But First has been a priority for me. So First is always like I go to school and then I do First, and then probably until like 10 at night, and then I start doing homework. So it's hard to balance, but it's really enjoying. And along the way, I like, because it's not like, oh, this is work, but this is more like it's fun and it's hanging out with friends and learning different stuff. It's more of a activity, extracurricular activity that I do for fun. And then since graduating, I didn't do much, but I have volunteered at events, and a lot of people reach out to me. Some of my friends who is still doing First and asking about questions, and that's all I have done with First after graduation. But I'm expecting to do a lot of more volunteering, and in college we're planning on to do this, keep doing this cool thing.
Yeah.
I do want to stress. Go ahead, Colin.
I was just going to talk about the ways in which the time management that you have to learn if you're going to be successful in First really do pay off in college. This is my senior year now, and I have got a major, I've got 3 minors, I'm writing my thesis, I'm working 2 jobs, but I'm able to do that because I learned how to manage my time through these programs. And that, yes, you learn so many different things, mechanical building, programming, all of like marketing a business or a team, but like you also learn how to manage your own time and your priorities and how to reach out when you need help. And I still like to volunteer, even though I'm several years out of the program and things. And I just like to say that oftentimes, teachers are more than willing if you go into office hours and say, hey, is it cool if I miss your next class because I'm going to be in a different state volunteering in a tournament? That if you reach out, they'll probably say yes.
Mm-hmm.
I cut you off, Katie?
Yeah, no worries. The thing that I was going to add was that Colleen and Sunny and I all talked about how much time we put into First. And it's because we all love it so much. We really, really enjoy putting that much time in. But I don't want to scare anyone listening off of doing First if they want to put less time in. It's really a continuum of you can do First while putting in less time. And you aren't going to have the same experiences necessarily as a team that devotes like every waking second of their time to it. But it's a really valuable experience, I think, regardless of what you do. In one sense, you get what you give. And so that work and that time and that effort really pays off. But also, you can have a ton of fun and learn a lot just doing it as perhaps a slightly more casual thing. So I don't want to make everyone think that it's all or nothing.
Yeah. And it's like definitely a very extremely rewarding experience. And even for people who might go in thinking that they don't want to put as much time and they want to do more of a hobby, will actually turn out to be some of the most active people on that team and First. So
that's very true. First is so great; it has a way of sucking you in. Yeah.
And after the 3595 retired, I have a team at my school. It's a school FTC team, and I found that a lot of people who just want to do business but are interested in technology, so they always come to the meeting and doing the business side of the team and doing like writing marketing report and writing up business plan. But then they don't get involved with as much as the robot perspective, and that is totally fine. So find something that interests you, and then join the team because there's always something for you. to do with your interest and with your time you have and stuff. So first, it's a really good community to join, no matter what your passion is. That was that's my thoughts on it. If you want to join first, but are scared of too much time commitment.
Sure. So I think we're close to wrapping up this episode. I think the final topic that I wanted to share with people, ask you guys was, so like, what sort of things that you've been doing, after first? Like, I guess you've all mainly sort of touched upon like what you're doing after the team retired, but is there any other things that you want to share about what you're doing after the team retired?
One thing that I've really enjoyed since I started college is I used my skills from first to get involved with a rocketry club at my school. And so last semester, my freshman spring, I built and launched a rocket alongside several other people. And that was, in some respects, totally different from first. It was, not a robot. It was an entirely different machine that I was creating. But in some respects, it was also really similar in that it used those same kind of build skills that I had learned and the collaboration with others. And it was a totally different thing, but also very related and super fun and rewarding. So that's something that I've been up to since. And then since launching that, I've become co-vice president of the Rocketry Club. Now I'm doing a whole lot more with it. I'm working on creating another larger rocket to get a level 2 certification for rocket launches. So totally different, super exciting, another fun STEM thing I've been up to. And if you're interested in rockets, I highly recommend.
All right.
I am going to be finishing up my senior year. I'm working on applying to grad schools for technical theater, actually, which it doesn't sound like it's too related to robotics, but it also really is, because the problem solving that I learned is in like competitions when you need to go is very similar to the vibe backstage during a performance when something breaks last minute and you have to send an actor out on stage in 30 seconds. And it's that same kind of high adrenaline, really fun problem solving. And so I'm applying, fingers crossed that I'll get in. And I'm really working on finishing up college and applying all of those skills to being an actual functioning adult.
Oh, so since I graduated from high school, it hasn't been long, but I've just been looking into what kind of clubs my college is offering related to robotics and related to the club I want to major in. So it's I don't know, like, and also I've been helping with other teams and other schools who want to start a new robotics team next year. So that's kind of what I'm up to.
So I think a common thread there is we're all still involved with FIRST in some respects as far as mentoring, helping teams, volunteering, staying involved like that. And then we're also, even when we're doing things seemingly unrelated to FIRST and entirely different subject fields, we're still applying everything that we learned in our time in FTC. And some of that's just because we've learned so much from FTC. And it's also because the skills that we learned are so valuable and so interdisciplinary that they're really applicable to basically everything in life.
Yeah. All right. So I think with that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Fantastic.
Yes. And to our listeners, thank you so much to listening to this episode. If you want to check any of these, you want to check Schrodinger's hat and see some of the past things that they've done, you can check out their Twitter and like their social media. The links will be in the description. And also make sure to check out the podcast social media on Instagram at the Rift Podcast Project and Twitter at Podcast Rift. And check out some of the other great episodes that we've had. We've had some pretty amazing people on this show. So thank you again, and I guess we'll see you guys next time. Bye.